You know who America's greatest poet is? Some say it's Emily Dickinson. And do you know who China's greatest poet is? Many claim it's Li Bai. But what makes them the greatest in their countries? Is it simply because their verses are beautiful? Here's the kicker. If you were transported back in time and penned the same lines, you wouldn't have earned that title. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Today, we're diving into the stories behind China's legendary Li Bai and America's iconic Emily Dickinson. Meet Li Bai, the rock star poet of ancient China, a man whose life story is as epic as his verses. Immersed in a traditional Confucian education, yet deeply influenced by Taoist ideals, he quickly showed signs of poetic genius. At 25, he embarked on a decade-long journey, wandering along the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers and composing stunning landscape poems like Viewing the Lushan Waterfall. At 42, Li Bai's reputation soared so high that none other than Emperor Xuanzang, China's equivalent of a supreme, all-powerful monarch, summoned him to the court. Yet, true to his wild, unrestrained nature, he soon offended the powers that be. One legendary tale even recounts how he showed up so drunkenly and muddy that the emperor's top eunuch had to kneel to untie his boots. Imagine your boss's right-hand man having to help you because you were too tipsy. Pure rock star chaos. After experiencing a major low point and enduring exile, Li Bai penned Early Departure from Baidu City, a work that infused his once fierce poetic spirit with a deep sense of melancholy and world-weariness. He ended his life in relative poverty at 62, yet left behind an astounding legacy of roughly 1,100 poems. His works burst with romance, bold imagery, and transcendent metaphors. Take, for instance, his famous line, "I raise my cup to the bright moon, the moon, my shadow, and I make three." Yes, he literally invited the moon and his shadow to join the party. If you want to experience more of the charm of Chinese poetry, subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments. Now meet Emily Dickinson, the enigmatic genius from Amherst, Massachusetts. Born into a respected elite, her father a prominent lawyer, Emily was steeped in a rigorous classical education from the tender age of 7. At 17, she enrolled in Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, but soon rebelled against its strict religious dogmas, leaving after just 6 months. From her mid-20s onward, Emily gradually withdrew from society, rarely venturing beyond her family home, and choosing instead to engage with the world through intimate letters and even by lowering homemade treats out her window to neighborhood kids. This quiet, reclusive lifestyle earned her the enduring local nickname, the Myth of Amherst. Despite her physical seclusion, Emily's inner life blazed with creativity. Over the years, she secretly composed nearly 1,800 poems, scribbled on scraps of paper, envelopes, or bound into little booklets, crafting verses that would later revolutionize American poetry. Her style was radically innovative, employing unconventional dashes, erratic capitalizations, and compressed language that conveyed deep, often haunting themes. For instance, in one delightfully irreverent poem she muses, "How dreary to be somebody, how public, like a frog, to tell one's name the livelong June, to an admiring bog, a cheeky critique of fame." And in another sublime, heartfelt verse, she writes, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all," offering a timeless meditation on the resilient, uplifting nature of hope. Today, Emily Dickinson stands as an iconic figure in American literature, a testament to the idea that profound impact doesn't always come from public acclaim. At first glance, you couldn't pick two more opposite poets. Li Bai was the wild romantic. Emily Dickinson, on the other hand, was the reclusive genius. Li Bai wandered through mountains and rivers, taverns and courts, living a life as unrestrained as his poetry. Emily confined herself to a single upstairs room, rarely stepping outside, her world condensed into letters, flowers, and the flicker of thought on paper. She's often imagined as a quiet figure, peeking at the world from behind a curtain. Li Bai praised wine, nature, friendship, and freedom. In one poem, he even wrote about getting so drunk he tried to kiss the moon and fell into a river. His verses are bold, fantastical, bursting with wild metaphors and cosmic scale. Dickinson, by contrast, praised solitude, eternity, death, and the tiniest details of life. A buzzing fly, a loaded gun, a hummingbird's wing. Her language was compressed, restrained, often enigmatic. Where Li Bai's poetry dances, Dickinson's poetry whispers, and then pierces. Yet here's the twist. Li Bai lived in a culture deeply rooted in tradition, where hierarchy, harmony, and saving face were everything. You weren't supposed to embarrass yourself, much less the emperor's court. And yet Li Bai did exactly that, again and again, without apology. Meanwhile, Dickinson lived in 19th century America, a time and place bursting with public life, church gatherings, parlor visits, and endless social expectations, especially for women. And yet, Emily chose retreat. She skipped church, declined marriage, and shut the door on polite society. So what is it that made these two, one loud, one quiet, one wandering, one still, each become their country's greatest poet? If you noticed, the title of this video claims that Li Bai and Emily Dickinson reveal our deepest cultural fears. So, what exactly is cultural fear? Let me break it down for you. In a world that often feels painfully ordinary, each of us secretly longs to be that one extraordinary individual. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that you're just as average as everyone else. That thought alone is downright terrifying. In that moment, you begin to yearn for the one genius among the masses who stands out from the crowd, someone who seems uniquely exceptional, including you. When this desire is channeled into literature, it becomes what we call cultural fear. The dread that all creative works might end up sounding and looking the same, utterly mundane. So why did they become the greatest poets in their respective countries? It's because of cultural fear. Both Li Bai and Dickinson turned their culture's deepest anxieties on their heads. Western society often worries about becoming invisible or losing its individuality, while in China, there's a fear of being too different, of standing out and becoming a target. Li Bai laughed in the face of rigid order and found joy in wild abandon, whereas Dickinson embraced isolation and discovered eternity in her solitude. Their lives are like funhouse mirrors at an amusement park, reflecting our own cultural anxieties back at us. In those reflections, we see ourselves, the part of us that craves indulgence and the part that yearns to hide away. So, which poet speaks to you more? Let me know in the comments. Next time, we'll dive into some of China's most bizarre food habits. I promise, it's going to blow your mind. If you want to learn more about the cultural differences between China and America, don't forget to like and subscribe.